The overachiever to burnt out hobbyless adult pipeline. I'm 23, and until very recently, I didn't have any hobbies. Goals shifted. I genuinely debated deleting this channel. My life belongs to me, not to my potential. I am a product of the participation trophy generation. I was lucky to grow up in an environment and in a time where kids were encouraged to be anything and everything. Emphasis on the everything. I sang in the church choir, played basketball, swam, cheered, performed in community theater productions, did crafts, wrote books, to so many summer camps. My poor mother. Now, I'm 23, and until very recently, I didn't have any hobbies. I went in just a couple of years from being the kid that did everything to the 20-something that woke up, went to work, scrolled on their phone, went out for the occasional drink, and then slept and did it all over again. That's the full checklist, and I hated it. I loved the idea of having hobbies, and I understand the importance of them, but I could never fully engage. I call this the overachiever to burnt out hobbyless adult pipeline. Catchy, I know. And today we're going to break it down, and then we're gonna break it all together. For those who are new here, welcome to my cozy, chaotic corner of the internet and this literal corner of my apartment. I'm Julia, and I'm trying to bring a wholesome lens to the video essay genre. Until really recently, actually, I was recording entirely on my phone, but I just got a new camera, so I'm really excited to be trying some new things coming up. I did a lot of research and reflecting to determine 3 things that hold high-achieving adults back from really engaging in and enjoying hobbies. Those are the perception of potential, the fear of sucking, and a lack of structure. Don't worry, I'm gonna explain each of those in depth, but a regular video essay didn't really feel like the right way to do it. I actually kind of did the video essay genre because it was something that allowed me to sit down and film on my phone. But I just got a camera. So that means now I can film different clips, we can go new places, and I want to bring you along with me. I want to do more than just talk about it. I want to take action, I want to push back. So I picked out 3 corresponding hobbies to each of these barriers that I'm facing. Each hobby is going to challenge me in an entirely different way. So let's break this cycle together because it is a cozy hobby day, baby. When I graduated college, I had a bit of a quarter-life crisis. I realized very randomly that I would never be a ballerina, and that broke me. You see, ballerinas start training from a very early age and are in their peak very young. I was 21 at the time, past the point in my life where the idea of becoming a professional ballerina was a legitimate possibility for me. Heartbreaking, I know, but here's the thing. I never wanted to be a dancer. I took ballet classes at the YMCA growing up, and though I looked cute in a tutu, I showed no real promise or interest. In fact, I pretty distinctly remember dreading putting on those itchy tights. And as I got older, I quit. I was mourning the loss of a dream I never even had, but there was something about the finality of it. I had never been told I couldn't be something before. Up until that point, I'd always thought of myself in terms of potential. Potential is a terrifying and intoxicating thing, and discussions of it start before we're even born. Pregnant women face a slew of conflicting advice like listen to Mozart so that you can raise a brainiac baby that begins in the womb. Being told you have great potential can be empowering, and it can also be completely crushing. I'm not going to pretend to know the first thing about parenting. I love my parents. I think they did a great job. But I was one of many high-achieving students that developed what's kind of known now as gifted kid burnout. Gifted kid burnout is when a child becomes exhausted as a result of too much pressure from unrealistic expectations they set for themselves or others place on them. It can be extremely difficult because your worldview is essentially being shattered. It destroys your self-worth while also making you question why you were placing it in your achievements in the first place. Burnout isn't a great place to be when starting a new hobby, but that rest and refocus is also pretty essential, so it's complex. When you're used to perceiving every moment as a stepping stone into your true potential, why would a 20-year-old ever choose to take a ballet class? There's no future in it, and it feels like a waste of time. that is exactly why today I am going to a ballet class. Here's the thing, my life belongs to me, not to my potential. Hobbies aren't a distraction from my life, they're a part of it. We deserve play for play's sake. I can pull up a bunch of studies that show the benefits of hobbies. They make you healthier, more stable, more balanced, but at the end of the day, you deserve to enjoy your life even if it doesn't circle back to productivity in some way. Ballet makes me feel beautiful and at peace, and today, it made me happy. The future of the hobby in my life doesn't really matter. By graduation, many of us have developed an all or nothing mindset. I should be the best at something or I should be nothing at all. And that doesn't go away the minute you get your diploma. A study published in 2019 showed that there's a growing trend of adults becoming more and more perfectionistic, perceiving others as demanding more of them and subsequently demanding more of themselves. Makes sense. We live in a comparative society where, that social feedback can be instantaneous. Which brings me to video games. I have a strange relationship with gaming. I've been gaming my whole life, and I actually recently just got into cozy games. And I actually did a video essay on this topic if you want to check it out. I see it as a leisurely way to relax and have fun, but I'm actually pretty objectively bad at the gaming mechanics. I have ADHD, so I get distracted and overwhelmed pretty easily. I have a horribly impaired sense of direction, so I get really disoriented. Along with that video essay, I made a few shorts about cozy gaming, and one got more views than anything else I've ever made on this channel. Honestly, the feedback I've gotten has been pretty horrible. I made this short about being frustrated about dying in Cuphead. It was 13 seconds in length, had 3 seconds of really minor gameplay. I just made it for fun, but people were pretty surprisingly offended by it. They were saying how bad I am at gaming, just wait until she tries Call of Duty, saying I was lying about having a boyfriend. And honestly, I was pretty upset at first because I'm a pretty sensitive person. Not many of us are used to sucking at things, and we naturally gravitate towards things that we're good at, especially with our career. At a certain point, society turns to that child that does everything and asks, who are you? Actor / musician / hobbyist / aspiring astronaut no longer cuts it as an answer. I wasn't good at many of those activities as a child, but that was never the focus. Instead, the focus was on personal enrichment, developing, community, play. But at some point around high school, the goals shifted. Activities were now resume builders, preparing us for the real world, preparing us for our college applications. Well-roundedness became a carefully curated aesthetic instead of a natural part of curiosity. Learning by being bad at stuff was a thing of the past. That's a limiting factor for hobbies when you're an adult because, the standard is naturally going to be higher. Good drawing for a child probably isn't going to elicit the same amount of praise if it's done by a 30-year-old, but you're still starting for the first time. You are like a child in that way. I am entering the gaming community knowing full well that many people here could speedrun Cuphead in under an hour. I genuinely debated deleting this channel after all of that. That is until my very sweet and real, I swear he's real, he just goes to a different school, boyfriend reminded me that it doesn't matter literally at all if I'm good at gaming. It's a hobby I do purely for myself, even though I like to join in the community every now and then, and being an amateur isn't embarrassing. I'm allowing myself to be bad with no expectation of me ever becoming good. I mentioned earlier that I was a participation trophy kid. I did every activity and then I got a pat on the back just for showing up. I was also in a million structured activities and after-school programs. I loved them and learned a lot, but studies are actually showing that this might be a part of the problem. A study published by the University of Colorado at Boulder was one of the first to question the overscheduling of kids. According to the study, children who spend more time with unstructured activities, from reading books to visiting the zoo, are more likely to be able to set their own goals and work towards them without prodding from adults. Up until graduation, I was in a very structured environment for my hobbies. In fact, I didn't even really consider them hobbies in the first place. They were just an extension of my studies and of my work. But after college, I realized my employer doesn't really care if I'm in a book club or if I'm well-rounded. I'm a writer, so they care that I'm able to write and deliver well-written, thoughtful pieces, but they don't care if I ever finish the novel that I've spent years working on. I realized I don't know how to convince myself that something matters without some sort of external motivator or validator. I stopped writing after work not because I didn't want to or because I didn't value it, but really because I didn't know how to value it. I had no structure or accountability. Good thing you are all coming with me to do this writing sprint. Hobbies in adulthood often require us to build our own structures from the ground up. It's easy to beat yourself up for failing yet again to make time to write, but it's gonna keep happening without some sort of rhythm and community support. I found that community support through writing fellowships and groups, but I still struggle. So here's a good first step. Let someone know your hobby-related goals. Anyone. You can even comment them here and I'll be that someone. You have to say it if you want it to be real. If you want to live a life where hobbies matter, you have to treat them like they do. Hobbies are relaxing and pleasurable, but they aren't always the most instantly gratifying or the easiest option. Writing is way more work than scrolling on my phone, but it's work that's worth it. Not because of any promise of being published one day, but because working at something because I want to is fulfilling. I hit 1,000 words. Thank you for helping me reach my goals today and for joining me for this little deep dive journey. I hope you're able to follow along with a hobby that you love or that you're able to make time for it later this week. Lastly, I just want to acknowledge that this is hard. It doesn't feel like enjoying yourself should be difficult, but it is. And that's okay. And if you don't have the energy to get to your hobbies today, that's okay too. Trying to win at self-care is never going to break that overachiever to burnt out, hobbyless adult pipeline. Take the rest you need. And if you have the time, let me know what you liked about this video or what you want to see in the future. This is a really small channel, so I really appreciate if you like, comment, subscribe. It helps out a lot. Now that I've gotten this new camera, I feel like there's so much potential for the future here. I'm really into hobbies, as you can probably tell by this video, but this is actually a hobby of mine, and I'm really glad that you all get to join me along for it. With that said, thank you so much, and I'll see you real soon.